What's the guns, knives, and watches, baby? And we gonna look at the Becker, you know, made by that there K-Bar type corporation. And unfortunately, look at some of the problems that were with this knife. It's a really great knife. It's a really great design. As I said previously, the things that held it back were the tactical type sheath, which is kind of odd, and of course, the brown handles. And its brothers and sisters were very kind of type wilderness survival, which is the main orientation of Becker. Becker actually, man, he does those wilderness survival blades, man. Thing is, the BK-15, it's 1095 steel, a carbon steel. It will rust, but the thing holding it back is the edge. And I don't know if you can pick up those chatter marks that I'm seeing. Yeah, I'll try to get them to do it, but that's really the thing that's holding this knife back the most. Now, most European American type knives come at what they call a 40-degree angle, which is 20 degrees per side, okay? And what this knife actually needs is a steeper angle than that. And this knife is actually at a 32-degree angle. Is that good? It is for what the blade profile actually needs, okay? This knife, unfortunately, is at about a 40 some degree angle. And it's just very blunt. Now that gives it a very durable edge, but it's not sharp. And if you were to have a thicker knife, of course, or you were to have a different profile, as far as this is almost a full flat grind, this knife and that edge geometry would make total sense. The problem is that because of the design of the knife, which this wasn't designed by Ethan Becker, it really screams to have a steeper edge profile. I mean, and it screams for it. And once you do that, of course you get a more delicate edge, but because it's 1095, it'll get extremely sharp. It's very easy to sharpen, and it is a very usable edge. And no, you're not going to go batoning with it, but the geometry of the blade is not going to allow you to really do that anyway. Like I said, this is not one of them there. We're not going to stab it and pry. We're not going to do any of that type stuff. And this really doesn't lend itself to batoning. You can baton it through stuff. You can go through small, sticks or whatever you want to. I wouldn't send it through a whole lot of oak. But, whatever you want. The problem with this actually is it all gets back to design. It all gets back to the product line that it's in, and it all gets back to edge profile. It's a great knife when you clean it up. The hardest part to cleaning this edge up, actually, believe it or not, is the coating. I mean, that coating is some rock solid shit. I used, of course, diamond stones to get through it, but it was actually harder to take the coating off than it was to actually reprofile the edge. So, how durable is it? It's pretty durable, especially for what this knife is actually going to go through and what this knife is going to experience in its lifetime. Because you're not going to be batoning with it, you're not going to be prying with it, you're not going to be doing any of those things. So, it will probably last forever. if all you're doing is reprofiling the edge and all you're doing is food preparation. Anyway, it's Guns, Knives, and Watches, man. Getting back to business, man. I do appreciate everyone's views yesterday, though, because, made a lot of money. And unfortunately, I can't comment on my contract, because if I do comment on my contract, that's a breach of contract. So that's kind of funny. So, but people don't get sometimes the concept of there's a difference between what I do and the way I get paid on Google as to other people, because they're different levels. And just because you can put up videos and have ads on them does not mean you're the same as we are. But this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and the BK-15 revisited with a direct comparison with the factory finish, the factory edge, and all that. I mean, it's horrendous, especially for the blade geometry, especially for everything else. But once you get it actually cleaned up, once you do it correctly, it turns into a really good knife. As I said, don't go prying with it, don't go batoning with it, but if you use it for what it's actually designed for, and you have to take care of this is like high-end chef knives. You've got to actually take care of the edge, because 1095, if you allow it to rust, will pit. And, man, it's like, yeah, dude, don't wipe your blade down, man. Some people, man, some chefs get really picky about this. And probably, in the end of the day, I probably should have gone to culinary school instead of engineering or med, but that's just the way it works, man. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Time Watches, boy. And the Becker Bk-15. If you get one, reprofile the edge. As I said, the hardest part is getting that damn coating laid back enough to where you can actually do it. But once you get it done, it's pretty easy, and you'll create a hell of a knife. And it's Guns, Knives, and Watches, man. Enjoy. You snort more meth or whatever. I don't know. Do they snort meth, or do they smoke meth, or do they shoot meth? I don't know. I get confused. God, do you realize how many people I've put in jail for drug offenses? And I never got all of what they did or how they did it down ever. I'll figure it out one of these days. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Crotches, boy. Becker Bk-15. And reprofile the edge. It makes it into a really good knife. Peace out, boys. Yeah.